On December 1st, 2022, Zelensky's traditional evening video message was devoted to the church issue. He reported on the meeting of the National Security and Defense Council, at which decisions were made regarding the fate of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and soon by Decree 820, Zelensky put this decision into effect. What's happening? Apparently, President Zelensky announced the destruction of the UOC. The first step is to submit a bill to ban it to the Rada.
РНБО доручила уряду внести на розгляд Верховної Ради законопроект щодо унеможливлення діяльності в Україні афільованих із центрами впливу в Російській Федерації релігійних організацій.
Obviously, we are talking about a bill recently prepared by Poroshenko's MPs to ban the Russian church in Ukraine. You will say that the bill is pointless since the UOC declared its complete independence from the Russian Orthodox Church at the May Council. And you will be wrong. Poroshenko and his team are now actively calling to unblock the 2018 law on the false renaming of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church into the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. That is, the scheme is very simple. It has only two moves. First, the UOC is forcibly renamed into the Russian Church in Ukraine and then solemnly banned as the Russian Church in Ukraine. Well, if so, it has no need for the Lavra.
Забезпечити перевірку наявності правових підстав та дотримання умов користування релігійними організаціями майном, яке перебуває на території Національного Києво-Печерського історико-культурного заповідника.
Domenko's structure responded with lightning speed. The next day, the OKU registered the legal entity Kyiv-Pечерsk Lavra, and the schismatic leader himself announced the imminent return of Ukrainian prayer to the Orthodox shrine. On the same day, Zelensky said that the announced measures against the UOC are just the beginning, and he is not going to stop.
І це ще не все. Будуть ще кроки. Україна більше ніколи не буде зупинятися на півшляху.
But it is especially necessary to emphasize his words that society strongly supports the actions of the authorities against the UOC.
Бачу, що люди підтримують ці кроки, дуже потужно підтримують.
What did he mean? Surely, the media PR of the SBU actions, which nightmarizes priests, bishops and monks. From mid-November, a powerful attack began against the UOC. The security forces are conducting searches in the Kyiv-Pечерsk Lavra, dioceses, monasteries and hundreds of churches. According to their results, the media issue materials in which they call the UOC a Kremlin FSB structure. Before the first searches, the SBU said it expected to find weapons and saboteurs. They searched 350 temples and 850 people, but did not find anything like it anywhere. But what does the SBU find then? On what does it base its accusations of treason? Everyone knows the expectations and realities mean. Let's compare accusations and evidence. November the 22nd, Lavra and monasteries of the Sarny diocese. The SBU found pro-Russian literature used in teaching at the seminary and parochial schools, including for propaganda of the Russian world. What's in the photo? A couple of issues of the Ruski Vestnik newspaper dated 2020, two brochures of Russian ideology by St. Serafim Sobolov, a stack of Easter greetings from the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, a stack of leaflets with a photo and text supposedly by Patriarch Kirill. November the 25th, Chernivtsi-Bukovina diocese. The SBU claims that it found warehouses with wholesale batches of pro-Kremlin literature that praises the aggressor country and calls to support the occupiers. We now look at the photo. There really are warehouses with literature, but what are these books? Children's Bible, primer for public schools, catechism and pictures, pastoral conversations with children, prayer rule. Can it be called literature that supports the occupiers? Hardly. The SBU also states that it found in the computers of the diocese, quote, photocopies of IDs of Russians who participated in hostilities against Ukrainian troops. As evidence, we can see 3 screenshots with some kind of open Russian website about the military who conquered Crimea in 2014. Could this be evidence of some kind of guilt of priests or bishops? Hardly. In the searches in the rest of the dioceses, the arguments are about the same power of persuasion, and on the basis of such findings, the SBU initiates treason cases against the UOC. But that's not all. during the searches of the SBU, someone plants compromising materials on the UOC. In the Koritz convent, in a damp and unheated attic, the SBU found stacks of brand-new leaflets with fake words from Patriarch Kirill in which he allegedly calls to restore justice and return Ukraine to Russia.
Ці листівки в нас їх не було. Вони появилися під час обшуку. Де вони взялись, не знаю, хто їх підкинув. У нас там на горищі, де вони їх взяли, там велика сирість. І якщо там книжки лежать, якась література чи що якась, газета, вона зразу робить такою вологою. А це були сухенькі, чистенькі.
The same leaflets, only in color printing, are in Russian, were discovered during searches in the Khust, Rivne and Zhytomyr dioceses. In the church of the Glinsk village, Rivne diocese, the SBU planted leaflets about supporting the aggressor in the sacristy. It occurred while the rector went to Germany to buy cars for the armed forces of Ukraine.
Коли староста відкрив храм, працівники СБУ його не допустили до храму, а сказали лише про те, що він має бути на вулиці. Потім, коли вони йому дозволили вже зайти, це пройшов вже певний відрізок часу, вони почали вже з ним проводити знову огляд храму, і коли вони прийшли в ризницю, в шкафу, вони дістали 2 пачки листівок, які вони туди фактично і поклали, тому що в нашому храмі їх просто фізично не могло бути.
But that's just the beginning. Complete mess occurred in Chernivtsi. There, the SBU officers broke down the doors, broke into the office and put Metropolitan Melody and everyone they found against the wall.
Потрощили двері і вірвалися в моє приміщення, поклали мене до стінки, під автоматом, вимагали, щоб я не повертався, нічого не говорив. Коли піднялися на 3-й поверх, там був не тільки отець Нікіта, а там є кельї, де живуть ще послушники. Хлопці, які прислуговують на службі, і які, не маючи змоги добиратися до села далеко, залишалися там. Відеопротокол обшуку може це підтвердити.
The secretary of the diocese, Archimandrite Nikita, and one of the novices was stripped down to their underwear and photographed. These photos were immediately leaked into the, so to say, right channels and the media, which whipped up a homo scandal from them. The pro-Oku journalist Koshkina of the Poroshenko media, television and telegram channels began the enthusiastic rant that sodomy was commonplace in the Chernivtsi diocese. The same Koshkina reported that child pornography had been allegedly found in the laptops of the diocese. Moreover, that it was not downloaded from the internet but filmed on a video camera. Everything that happens is clearly no accident. This is a well-thought-out black PR campaign, the purpose of which is obvious, to convince Ukrainians that the UOC is a marginal Kremlin organization that consists of enemies, and immoral enemies at that. This means it can and should be banned, and one cannot feel sorry for it. And so the Minister of Culture tells how this can happen.
Хоча існують дійсно законодавчі складнощі, пов'язані з тим, в який спосіб підійти до цього питання, в результаті дискусій, в тому числі з експертами, ми такий варіант знайдемо.
There is also another goal, to force the episcopate and the priesthood to join the OKU. The SBU speaks about it directly.
Один з тих добрих людей у нас на подвір'ї покликав мене і каже: якщо ви бажаєте, щоб такі цирки не відбувалися, і щоб надалі ви жили спокійно, приходьте.
Well, it looks like Zelensky has taken the same path as Poroshenko, only he acts more decisively and, like a former media worker, more inventively. Only he knows why he suddenly became preoccupied with lobbying the interests of the OKU. But here are some remarks in this regard. In 2019, Ukrainians voted for Zelensky as the antipode of aggressive Poroshenko's policy. They voted for a person who promised to stop dividing people into right and wrong.
Це ми. Ті, кого поділили. На правильних і неправильних. На малоросів і вишиватників.
У нашому паспорті не вказано, правильний чи неправильний українець. Там написано «громадянин України».
Therefore, millions of believers voted for him in the hope that the new president would leave the church alone and let it live normally. Then it was a lively and humane Zelensky who said that faith is a personal matter and it is unacceptable to interfere in it.
Вопрос религии номер 1. Мы никогда не обсуждаем вещи, которые раскалывают семьи и общество. Я никогда это не делаю. Никогда.
Having become president, the once upon a time Zelensky would approach believers, listen to their troubles and promise help, and reiterate that the state does not interfere in the affairs of the church.
Держава ж не повинна в церкву втручатися.
Now, this is a completely different person who gives the go-ahead for the destruction of the church, for the destruction of faith. Now he is almost indistinguishable from Poroshenko and speaks in almost the same words about spiritual independence, about the opposition of the empire within the Ukrainian soul.
Ми ніколи і нікому не дозволимо будувати імперію всередині української душі.
Імперія втрачає один із останніх важелів впливу на свою колишню колонію.
Ми гарантуємо Україні духовну незалежність.
Ми здобуваємо нарешті духовну незалежність. Власна церква – це гарантія нашої духовної свободи.
Only recently, Zelensky very convincingly said that it doesn't matter which church we go to, but the main idea for Ukrainians should be the idea of living in respect for each other.
Нам було би важливо, до якої церкви ходять Каденюк та Лобановський. Це має стати нашою національною ідеєю. Навчитись жити разом у повазі заради майбутнього своєї країни.
There is an ancient Burmese parable, Kill the Dragon. Its main idea is that it's not so difficult to slay the dragon, it is much more difficult not to become a dragon yourself. And now, when we look at the president, we need to take a closer look to say if it is Zelensky or Poroshenko. According to worldly wisdom, one should not be fascinated so as not to be disappointed in the end. The psalmist David says even more precisely, "Do not put your trust in princes, in mortals, in whom there is no help." Poroshenko's and Zelensky's come and go, but the church is eternal. Prosperous or persecuted, it doesn't matter. She is alive and cannot be destroyed, which is proven by the Bolsheviks. And while we are in her bosom, we are with God, which means we have a future.
Церкву нашу мы не предадим и не оставим, братья и сестры, потому что Бог не оставит нас. И ничего не бойтесь, братья и сестры, Бог с нами. Вот вся Україна православная, ми тут, ми дома у себе. Це наша церква, це церква Господня. Ніхто не зможе побіждати Бога, і церкву Божию ніхто не може побіждати.